Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about Ethereum. So currently Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, and I'm here to talk about why that is. So Ethereum basically is an app store, and an app store you buy or use different applications for your personal use. And the app store we know of today is run and owned by a corporation called Apple. Apple can censor any app they want. They can put whichever app they want on the front page. They can change the fees. They can do anything because they own it. It's a centralized company. What Ethereum is and what makes it so popular and different is that Ethereum is a decentralized ecosystem. Not one person owns it. It's the community runs it and uses it. The community decides which app is popular. The community decides if they want to change the fees or if they want to do whatever they want. So what's different between Ethereum and Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin is the number one cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin is a payment network. A payment network is basically I want to send person A money, and so I send person A money. That's it. That's all that Bitcoin does. They don't have anything else. You can transfer value. That's what it is. And recently, it's become a store of value, so it's a good investment. It's a good investment. Bitcoin is. Ethereum is an infrastructure for an internet that isn't run by a central authority. So when you use the internet, if you think no one runs it, that's kind of idiotic because Google, you're using either Google Chrome, Firefox, Brave, etc. Google takes your privacy, they take all of your personal information. Ethereum doesn't do that. Ethereum is run by the community. No one owns it. No one can censor, no one can do any of that. So what does Ethereum do, and what's Ethereum's purpose? So Ethereum is a decentralized public ledger where transactions are verified and recorded. This is all public information. It's all transparent. So what makes Ethereum special is that it has smart contracts. That's what makes it different than Bitcoin. It has smart contracts. Smart contracts basically allow for everything to happen. Smart contracts can allow lending, borrowing, games, everything. And Ethereum's purpose is to be censorship resistant. It does not like censorship. Right here, here's a couple use cases. Trading activities, mortgages. It can do all sorts of stuff. One of the biggest things is voting, because when you're voting, you have to trust someone to count your vote. In Ethereum or at Ethereum, no one counts it. It's all done by a smart contract. Smart contract is basically a if or then, or an if then statement. So if I send 20 ETH to person A, then I will have access to this. If someone does this, then this happens. Then this happens. If this happens, that's it. It's kind of simple when you think about it in those terms, and it has many benefits. So I mean, we're talking like crazy stuff right here. Trustless, no one can interfere. It's secure because you don't have to trust anyone. You just have to trust the smart contract. All right, so let's continue. So let's talk about Ethereum's tokenomics. So Ethereum is the ecosystem. The token that is run on Ethereum is called Ether. Its ICO or initial coin offering was $2.82. Its supply right now is 117 million. August 22nd, 2021. At the beginning of Ethereum's history, it was inflationary, which means the supply kept going up. But a something called an EIP, which is a Ethereum proposal, EIP 1559 happened, which changed a lot of stuff. It changed the way that the transactions fees or gas was distributed. So at the beginning of 2021, the gas fees for Ethereum were crazy. It was like $1,000 to transact like $50 worth of Ethereum. And that was bad, and that was due to the congestion of the network. And miners were exploiting that by, if you wanted your transaction to go through, they would only transact the highest bidder. So you had to like bid thousands of dollars just to get your transaction through. And EIP 1559 changes that by it algorithmically does it. So it doesn't matter. The only reason the gas fee or the transaction fee would be high is if there's a lot of congestion, and they burn most of the Ethereum in the transaction fee, which makes Ethereum now deflationary. A couple other things is there's something called an ERC20 token. It is a standard for the Ethereum network, and it allows for different. If you use a decentralized exchange or DEX, it is kind of difficult for if there's thousands of different tokens that use different like code. So in the ERC20 is a standard for a certain amount of rules. So it's like a standard. Some of the rules are like how transactions are, or how transactions are made, fees, and market supply, or not market supply, like the circulation of how many coins there can be. Some famous examples, not famous, but like some big examples are Tether, Link, and Dai are all ERC20 tokens. And another very important ERC is ERC 271, which is standard for NFTs. NFTs are different because they are non-interchangeable. Like if I sent one Tether to you and I had one Tether, we couldn't tell which Tether is which Tether. It's just like $1, $1. A NFT is like a computer or something. Like my computer is different than your computer. My water is different than your water because I can tell I drink out this water, you drink out this water. This is my computer, it has my stuff on it. I own it, you can tell. So that's basically what NFTs do, and that's ERC 271 standardizes that in the same way ERC 20s do. So who created Bitcoin, or not? Sorry, who created Ethereum? So Ethereum was created by Vitalik Buterin, and this doesn't mean he owns Ethereum. He just runs the Ethereum Foundation that like supervises Ethereum until Ethereum is complete. So Ethereum was originally, the white paper was created in 2013. Vitalik wrote it, so that's why he is credited for creating Ethereum. In 2014, Ethereum was announced at a Miami conference, and then July 30th, 2015, Ethereum released to the public. The ecosystem or the network went online, and I'm pretty sure that was the same day the initial coin offering was released. So let's talk about how Ethereum runs. So you probably know there's two major different ways to run a blockchain: proof of work versus proof of stake. Right now, Ethereum uses proof of work, but it is going to merge and change to proof of stake. Solidity is the smart contract language that is used for Ethereum. So right now, there is a process going to switch Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake. That's called Ethereum 2. So a couple things about Ethereum's like history is that, so right now the main net is on proof of work. That's where all the transactions happens, and parallel to that is something called the proof of stake, or the beacon chain, which is using proof of stake. Basically, if I transact something on the main net, it's happening on the beacon chain as well, and they're running in parallel together until they merge, which should be happening at the end of 2022. So the reason they're switching from proof of stake to from proof of work is for a couple reasons. Number one, proof of work is energy intensive. Proof of stake is very environmentally friendly. This is because proof of work uses mining, which you have to use a lot of energy to use. Proof of stake is different because you stake your token, the native token, which in this case would be Ethereum, and how much you stake gives you how much percentage you get of being able to verify transactions. Also, when you stake tokens, you are able to vote on different stuff happening in the community. Like, it's basically governance. So also proof of stake will bring shard chains. This is supposed to help with congestion in the network. There's going to be, like, if the network is congested to the maximum, there will be a maximum of 64 chains happening all parallel together, which is pretty insane. And this is supposed to help with scalability and congestion on the network. So Ethereum enables something called DeFi. DeFi is decentralized finance. What we're used to is traditional finance, like banks, bankers, the stock market. And personally, it's terrible because, first of all, the stock market closes at like 5 p.m. Eastern and then starts at like 9:30 Eastern AM, which is terrible that you can even like restrict who can trade and when. But so some of the use cases for decentralized finance is lending, borrowing, longing, or shorting, which is basically buying or selling. Earn interest, you can play games. Most important in my my personal opinion, is voting, and there's a lot more. So pros to DeFi is that it's 24/7. No one can close it. It's not like the stock market where it closes. It's no one owns it, so there's no censorship. No one can censor you and like say you can't buy this. No one can close the market. It's not like a government can, in theory, close a market. Also, if you remember, Robinhood like stopped allowing trading for GameStop, which was like it should be illegal, but somehow it's not. But so no one can do that using DeFi. Banks can take days to transfer money. So if you try to transfer like $1,000, it can take days. Also, you can't transfer over the weekend. DeFi does not do that. You can transfer anytime you want, and it takes seconds. And then here's just a list of or functions that you can use in DeFi that you can't use in traditional finance from the Ethereum website. So let's talk about DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations. DAOs are super important, and so a DAO basically is a member-owned community without centralized leadership. So when you have a like company, like let's take Apple, you have a CEO, a CFO, and etc. down the chain. A, and sometimes the CEO or CFO can be sketchy. They can take the money. They can do all sorts of stuff. A DAO basically says we don't like that. We don't want one person to be in charge of the whole company. So it basically just allows for it allows the community to decide on different stuff. And this little like saying is trust no one except the code. So I don't need to trust the CEO. I need to trust the code of the DAO, and it's very important. And an example of what a DAO could be is a charity. And a charity, I mean, I'm not trying to like diss any charities, but some charities can be sketchy, and in the sense is that I don't really know if they are sending the money that I give them to the cause. You know what I'm saying? So charities allows for you to look at the code and say, oh, if I send $1,000 is going to go to this charity. It also allows for group voting, like we want to send this amount of money to this group, and it's all verified on the Ethereum network, which is amazing because it allows me to actually check that they sent the money. And then also here's another list of stuff that DAOs can do that traditional organizations cannot from the Ethereum website. That's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about Ethereum, please put it in the comments.